What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes here, back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the BUZZmod 1/12 Demon Slayer Kyojuro Rengoku. And I think I said that right, probably not. Let's get into it. Now, starting off with that sexy package, it's pretty much the same thing we've been getting with BUZZmod figures ever since they released Tanjiro. We've got the same box style, but the colors are different. It does say Aniplex right there. It does say Demon Slayer right there. BUZZmod 1/12, the name right there. Who says his first name anyway? We just all say Rengoku, right? So I'm just going to say Rengoku. Anyway, we got the window package where you can see the figure, some of the accessories. There's a picture of the figure right there. Some more stuff at the bottom. 1/12 BUZZmod. BUZZmod at the top. BUZZmod at the bottom. On the side, Demon Slayer BUZZmod. On the side, Demon Slayer BUZZmod. Then on the back at the top, we got some poses we can get the figure into. Then a whole bunch of legal stuff down here that no one really cares about. So let's go ahead and bust this figure open because I am very excited for this one. Now, if you've seen the entirety of Demon Slayer Season 1, you've been introduced to this character, but if you've seen Mugen Train, then you know exactly why this guy is one of the legendary Hashira. And man, this dude is so awesome, man. Such an amazing character, well designed and everything. Kyojuro Sensei, kudos. I really loved this guy. And also, if you've seen Mugen Train, then you know pain, but we're not going to discuss that. On to the figure itself. You guys already know what it is when it comes to these BUZZmod figures. A lot of them utilize the same engineering for everybody. This is the same thing that we've seen over and over. The only differences are really going to be if they come with any soft goods. This one actually comes with a plastic cloak. We'll get to that in a sec. But then, of course, the shins right here. Everyone has a different style for the boots. And then, obviously, the head. And we're going to start with the head because this looks so nice. First off, Rengoku has, if you pay attention to the movie, he has these lines right above his head. I don't know if they're like veins. They're like right in the middle of his forehead. They added those. They got the thick eyebrows. And as I always say, Demon Slayer has this particular style for the eyes that is just so unique to Demon Slayer itself. And they captured those perfectly. His hairstyle, everything about this is just done so well, and it's actually articulated. Wow, I didn't even know. I just started messing with it. But yeah, this is just done nice, man. This is a beautiful looking figure. I'm not going to go over the body too much, but one thing I do want to say is that they cleaned it up a whole lot. Tanjiro, he kind of felt a little weird. But with the release of Zenitsu, they got a little bit better on that one. But this one is it. They really cleaned the body up. And it just looks so much nicer. It feels better also. It makes me a little bit more satisfied with what I paid for this guy. Because these are not cheap, by the way. But anyway, as far as his cloak goes, first off, I want to say that this is nice. The way this kind of fades from well, it doesn't really fade as the red. You got the flames at the bottom. You've got like a yellow over them, and then the yellow fades into the white. That is awesome. They did that so well. And this actually kind of just plugs into his back. So what you can do if you want to take it off, you kind of got to mess with it, finagle a little bit. And that's what it looks like off of him. But one thing that's good about this is that it's snug on his back. It's not like it's something that's going to fall off every time you pose it. I'm going to leave it off for right now, but I do want to show you guys the inside. That's what that looks like. Not a whole lot of paint on this in terms of like shading and stuff. But as far as the colors and everything goes, obviously they got that right. They've got the symbol on his back. I wish I knew what that said. If anyone knows, please add that in the comments. But yeah, these are pretty much the same legs and body and all that you get with Tanjiro. But like I said, right here is where it's different. You got the almost maroon-ish color red and a little flame right there. And then, of course, you got his shoes. So details on this guy, superb. Everything is done exactly the way that it should be. And it's just a very clean looking figure. And also, just look how that looks with his hair like blowing upward. That's super cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and put him back and see how tall he stands so we can move on to the articulation. Now, as far as the height on this guy, to the top of his head, as you can see, he's right at about 5.5 inches. I don't remember how old Rengoku is. I think he's like 17 or 18, maybe 19. I know he's under 20. But I think that kind of fits. We'll have to see how he scales with Tanjiro and the others, and of course I will be showing those a little bit later on in the review. Moving on to that articulation, I'm going to run through this pretty fast. He looks up about that much, which is fine because the hair is pretty much touching the back of the neck. That's as much as you're going to get out of that. You can lift it a little bit, but it doesn't get you that much more range. Now, as far as lifting it, this is what it looks like when you lift it. And so you could definitely get some hair blowing effects, whatever you want to do when posing him. These just kind of hinge up and down. And actually, no, they hinge out as well. So if you want to have this weird, like, chameleon look, you can totally do it. It's off, but you can do it. As far as this piece, it just rotates. That's all you can do. There's no lift or anything with that. I wouldn't tug on it because I feel like that would break. So definitely don't do that. Now, as far as movement at the head, you get a ton of expression. You can look down about that much, which I think is pretty good. As far as the arms go, they still have this look that I don't particularly care for, but it's not bad. It's just that when you rotate it in like this, I hate how you can just see like the inside of the under of his shoulder. That makes no sense, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I don't really care for it, but as far as movement goes, it's very effective because any kind of sword swinging pose you want to do, you can get. With the way that he can bring his arms in, the swivel is built in. As far as the elbows, they are single jointed. I wish they would have gotten double jointed elbows, but once again, with the way that these shoulders work, you're still going to be able to get him in just about any pose that you want. I don't know if you want him touching his face, you can touch his face. You want him to hit the Wakanda pose, he can hit the Wakanda pose. He can pretty much do anything. So that's awesome. Now, as far as the hands go, they are on a hinge, same hinge we've been getting, very sturdy. You can move it around freely, obviously being hindered by the wrist, but at the diaphragm, this works about the same. It feels a little bit more sturdy on him. On Tanjiro and Zenitsu, it feels a little loose, but on this one, it feels very sturdy, but not fragile. So you can get him to crunch forward about that much. Why is his hand up? Why am I doing that? You can get him to lean back about that much, so quite a bit. You do get swivel, of course, and then you get more at the waist, which doesn't really help him move forward too much more. That's about as much as he can go forward. Going back, actually, I popped the leg off. I'm going to leave that in here for you guys to see. And actually, so you guys can see what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you pull the legs off. I don't know if I've shown that before, but they just pretty much go right back in there, so you don't have to worry about that. As far as kicking poses, he can kick forward about that much, actually a little bit further. Let's see, I think this is on a drop down method. I'm going to pull that off one more time. Let's see. No, I don't think that's on a drop down method. I might be wrong. But yeah, the leg goes back on, no problem. You can get him to do the splits about that much. You do have a swivel. Now the knees are single, so that's about as much bend as you get, but the accessories are going to cover you if you want to bend his knee a little bit more. I always show that off. He does have a swivel right here also. His foot goes down about that much, whole lot, up about that much. You do get ankle rocker and you do get toe hinge. So articulation wise, as usual, 10 out of 10 with these things. Perfect. I can't complain. Now, as far as this one-piece Marine 4 jacket, it actually has 3 spots where it can move. You can hinge it out a little bit, and this one was stuck. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, but it came right out. Anyway, you can move it out a bit, so if you want to have his jacket look like it's having a blowing effect. Actually, I think this is more of a cape because there's no sleeves on it, so I'm just going to call it a cape. But yeah, you can have it flared up like that, like it's blowing. You can have it lifted back, and you can do that with all 3 of these. So the movement is a little weird. Honestly, I wish they would have made this like the same way they did with Tanjiro and Zenitsu. I wish it would have just been like a soft good, but I mean, it works. You can do whatever you want to do with it, and it's not really going to get in the way of the articulation. I just think it would have made this guy look a little bit more correct, I guess, standing next to them, but still, you can pretty much do what you want to do with it, and it's going to look good. Now, as far as accessories go, this is where my first and so far my only gripe come in at. You get this smiling face right out of the package, and then you get a pair of relaxed hands. He doesn't come with a pair of fist hands straight out of the package. You get his excited face, and it's real funny when he makes this face because it just means he's happy about something, or sometimes he's just happy for no reason, because Rengoku was just a very happy character, and I love that about him. But you do get another face. This is one where he's kind of angry in an attack pose, maybe using his flaming attacks, and his teeth are gritted. The face looks really nice, but as you can see, he's looking off to the side, and that's awesome. That's just something to kind of spice it up a little bit, but you don't have an angry face where he's looking forward. You just get these three, and it's like, man, I really wish they would have included one where he's looking forward. They included 4 faces with Zenitsu, and I think they also did it with Nezuko, so I wish they would have just thrown one more in with him, maybe where he's got his mouth open and he's yelling, attacking, whatever, but they didn't do it with this guy. That is so far my only gripe. Now, in terms of other accessories, you do get a pair of fist hands, of course. You get a pair of gripping hands. You get a pair of relaxed hands. And then you get one right hand, which is just him where he's putting his hand on the back of his hand, kind of like this when he's holding his weapon. It's actually the pose, I believe, that's on the front of the box, so you get that as well. You do get this little mat piece. This is for when he's kneeling, and the accessories you use for that are these right here, which is where pretty much you exchange it out, and that's why I said earlier you can get more range. You pretty much just pull these legs off, and then you attach these, and if you want to have him in an attack pose where he's not like on the ground kneeling, you just pull this piece right here off, you pull his foot off, and then you attach it in that hole right there. And so that's how you get him in some of those attack poses. Now, in terms of other accessories, you do get his sword where it's sheathed. You can actually pull this out, and that's for basically when he's holding his sword, and the sheath looks really good itself, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is how good this sword looks. First off, I love red anyway. Red is my favorite color, but this sword like has flames on it, and it like goes from a red to like a dark red. At some angles and some lighting, it kind of looks like it's like an orangish color. There's a bit of a matte finish to it, and then there's some metallic. It just looks so good. And then the kanji on here, they could have easily skipped out on that, but they added that, and it's just stuff like this really makes me happy. It's something small, I know, but just the fact that they included it. Now, also the last accessory, which is probably the best one, is his fire breathing technique. This looks amazing. I love it. This is so much better. It's just leagues better than Tanjiro's. But the only problem is you kind of just sit this one on here. There's no really spot, or there's no real spot for it to kind of plug in. Once again, that looks good. Just look at that, you guys. That is so awesome. And it's not as translucent in here as Tanjiro, so it'll actually look like it's flames whenever you have the right lighting hitting it. But yeah, pretty much what I do is I just set it like this, and it kind of stays there as long as you have it leaning on the right side, and that is awesome, man. I dig that a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it for accessories. Not a whole lot, nothing too much that sets him apart from other figures. The main thing is the head sculpt, the sword, and then this flaming piece right here. Now, for my people that want to see the differences between his flaming technique and Tanjiro's, here you go. His is on the right and Tanjiro's is on the left. As you can see, Tanjiro's is almost completely see-through in the middle. Pretty much it is see-through, but it's so clear right around there. Versus on this one, you have those darker reds and oranges, and then you even have some blacks on the end of the flames, and it just makes it pop a whole lot more. And I don't know if they did this to kind of show the difference between the levels of these two characters, or maybe they just completely improved. But the one thing I want to mention is the base of the flames. These are also so much better. Like, these look like really good flames. This is just kind of but yeah, either way, both accessories, you can use this for Tanjiro if you want to. And I just hit my light, sorry about that. But yeah, I just wanted to show that. So moving on to size comparisons, here he is standing next to the other BUZZmod figures that have been released from Demon Slayer. We do have Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and we have Nezuko. And now that I'm looking at these, I feel like he should be a little bit taller, not too much, just a tad. Now I will say also, these legs, the sculpt on these are all the same. I actually took a minute to look at these before I started this segment. They're all the same. They're painted differently, but his are a little bit longer than Tanjiro's and Zenitsu's, which is what gives him that extra bit of height. So I wish they would have upscaled it a little bit more. Maybe they weren't fine with what they thought the proportions might have been, but I think he should have just been a little bit taller. But overall, all of these do look really good together, and I'm very satisfied. Now moving on to some other figures, we do have him standing next to the Figma Tanjiro, and honestly, I feel like this is actually a whole lot better. I think this is how Tanjiro should look next to Rengoku. Maybe I'm wrong, but this just is more appealing to look at in my opinion. And also, if you are planning on getting Rengoku, I will say that since all of this is plastic, it will look good standing next to any of the Figmas that you get, especially if the rest of the Figmas are going to turn out like Tanjiro. So if you want to add this guy to your collection, can't go wrong. But anyway, also, here he is standing next to the Revoltech My Hero Academia Deku, and then the SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen Yuji Itadori. All of these are great figures. And lastly, for some extras, here he is standing next to a couple of figures I had out today because I was photographing. The Mafex Pennywise, which I think is a very slept on figure. The Jazzwares Fortnite Raven, and then a Marvel Legends Odious, which is on the, I believe, one of the Punisher bodies, the most recent release. And also, big shout out to Wade. I know he won't see this, but shout out to you on Parallel Universe. I hope you're doing good wherever you are, bro. I'm happy you got that figure, by the way. Whatever it was. Now, as I've said earlier, if you've seen Demon Slayer, then you know of this guy. But if you've seen Demon Slayer Mugen Train, then you really know of this guy. And you know how awesome he is. On top of that, you know Pain. Yo, tell me with this. But that's not what this is about. This is about this guy right here. And it's so difficult for me to really critique these because every single one of them is just about the same. If you have one, then you have all of them pretty much, except for Nezuko so far. And other than that, I mean, you know what to expect, which that is a good thing and that can be a bad thing. For me, I love Demon Slayer to the point to where having every single one of these in my collection, I get more excited with each one that I add. Versus some people might be like, I know exactly what that figure is going to be. I know exactly what it's going to feel like. I know exactly what it's going to pose like. I know exactly what the accessories are going to be. Yada, yada, yada. But I don't think that it can grow stale because so many of the characters in Demon Slayer have somewhat of the same design. They usually just have different shin guards and then like different clothing choices for what they wear over their robes. They are pretty much just an army of people that go out and slay demons. So obviously the uniform is going to be the same. And I'm perfectly fine with that. This is a figure I just really enjoy. And even though Zenitsu is my favorite character from the series, this is probably my favorite of the line. Even though they didn't go with soft goods for his cape. They went with just a regular plastic cape. And it looks so good no matter how you angle it. It works well. And this is one that I think will work with Figma, and it will work if you collect the BUZZmod line. So this is a figure that can go with either or. The accessories, you know what to expect. This flaming piece is just flat out awesome. And I just gotta say, these figures here are dropping so quickly. It's like they're just throwing these together at the factory and saying, get them out, get them out, get them out. Because this dude wasn't even supposed to come out, from what I heard, until November. Meanwhile, right around the end of August, I'm seeing people get it, so I'm preparing my wallet. Here today is September 6th. I've got him in hand, and here's the review for it. So these things are coming out like crazy. Inosuke, I believe, is supposed to be, if I'm correct, I believe they said January, but at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if he came out in October. These things are really just popping up, and I love it. I want more. I want everyone. Anyone that they decide to drop. I really want Akazu now. That would just be amazing. Akazu and Inma, because, I mean, they were the heart and soul of the movie Mugen Train. But anyway, not to talk about them, onto this figure. You guys pretty much already know. This is one that if you have Tanjiro, if you have Zenitsu, you know whether you want this or not. It's not up to me to tell you, yo, go get this figure because it's awesome. You know, because you have the other figures, and this one really isn't that much different. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because that always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.